Hello, you are watching the Avoice Podcast news channel. I'm Jesse, your host for this exclusive story on Floyd Mayweather, the undefeated boxing champion, the self-proclaimed best ever, the man who flaunted private jets, $18 million watches, and suitcases full of cash. But according to his former accountant, that money, nearly all of it, gone. In just 6 months, Floyd Mayweather allegedly burned through $500 million. You heard that right. $500 million disappeared. How does someone who made over $1.2 billion across his boxing career end up brushing shoulders with bankruptcy? The answer is more shocking than you'd think, and it's not just about spending. It's about secrecy, ego, and the illusion of wealth. According to leaked internal records and insider interviews, the story starts not in the ring, but in the backrooms of Floyd's own empire. His accountant, whose identity has now been partially revealed, claims that after the Mayweather vs. McGregor mega fight in 2017, Floyd's liquid cash holdings hit a high point, somewhere north of $600 million. But what most people didn't know is how fast that money was bleeding out. From the outside, everything looked perfect. New Bugattis, Vegas parties, luxury real estate in Beverly Hills, Miami, and Dubai. But behind the scenes, a financial avalanche was unfolding. Here's the breakdown. Over $70 million was tied up in monthly overhead, private security teams, jet fuel, staff salaries, travel, jewelry, custom clothing, and exotic car leases. Another $200 million was allegedly sunk into high-risk, off-the-books investments pushed by shady advisors. We're talking crypto scams, underground real estate flips, and massive loans given to friends that never paid him back. One investment, in particular, went completely south. A $100 million stake in a Dubai-based fight league that never launched. The money gone without a trace. Then came the tax bombshell. According to the IRS, Mayweather owed tens of millions in back taxes dating all the way back to his Pacquiao payday. But Floyd didn't keep cash in traditional accounts. He was cash rich, but credit poor. By the time the government started leaning in, most of his holdings were tied up in physical assets, many of which had depreciated in value. His accountant, in confidential communications, warned him repeatedly, liquidate now or risk financial collapse. But Floyd reportedly refused to sell off his image. In his words, broke people sell cars. I buy more. But it wasn't just the cars. In a 6-month stretch, Floyd spent over $35 million on jewelry alone. One diamond-encrusted watch reportedly cost $18 million, and it wasn't even an original. The resale value? Less than $4 million. That's a 78% loss on a watch. He also owned over 100 vehicles, most of which weren't even driven. Many sat in temperature-controlled garages in Las Vegas and Miami. Some had depreciated by over 60% in less than 2 years. According to the accountant, Mayweather's team was managing money like a casino. There were no budgets, no investment strategy, no real oversight, just endless transactions. And then came the lawsuits. Former associates, business partners, and even family members began filing claims against Mayweather Promotions and his various LLCs. The legal fees? Sky high. The settlements? Confidential, but massive. The pressure mounted. Floyd reportedly took private appearance fees of over $2 million just to show up in nightclubs, something he'd never done in his prime. It wasn't because he wanted to party, it was because he needed to stay liquid. And here's the kicker. The accountant claims Mayweather was weeks away from filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy before agreeing to one last exhibition match in 2021. That fight reportedly netted him $10 million up front, plus a cut of pay-per-view. enough to temporarily avoid collapse. But the damage had been done. His assets were heavily leveraged. His team was fractured. And behind the scenes, his empire was held together by brand deals, short-term licensing agreements, and public appearances, not actual capital. So, was Floyd ever truly bankrupt? Not on paper. But according to the people who handled his money, he came dangerously close. The image of a man who could buy anything he wanted, whenever he wanted, nearly unraveled into a cautionary tale of excess, ego, and unsustainable spending. This isn't just a story about boxing. This is a warning for athletes, influencers, entrepreneurs, and everyday people chasing the illusion of wealth. Because even $1 billion brand can burn out in the blink of an eye. Thanks for watching Avoice Podcast News, where we believe in saving lives, enhancing lives, and revealing the truth behind the headlines. If this story made you think, share it. Because knowledge is power, and power is protection.